Proud sponsors for the program, a proud media partner for this program, and we are always excited that we have them as a media partner. It's the Business and Financial Times. So if you get a copy of the presentation, as I've always been reminding you, you should read a lot about the maritime industry, on this platform. Quite a number of other media outlets. Also, our partners, the Ghana Web. If you are able to surf the Ghana Web, you should read a lot about the maritime industry. Plus a host of others, Business 24, the Maritime and Transport Digest, and all others. Today, we're going to talk about some sort of force or warning that we are hearing from the Food and Drugs Authority, as well as the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. They are saying that this year was, at the government level, they say that 2020 was year of roads. The Customs says this year, year of enforcing regulations at the port. So you can't joke. Almost all the regulations that they have within the port, they are going to make sure that they will enforce it into all the details. If you thought that it was relaxed in the past, this year they are going to enforce it. Particular one that we will be dealing with is unregistered imports that has come from the Food and Drugs Authority. They say they are clamping down on unregistered imports, that people have been bringing in some stuff that are not registered, but they manage to bring them into the country. Customs will be here to assist in that direction. Customs is also clamping down on some sampling issues, getting all the details from them. I noticed that even just seeing our adverts outside, quite a number of freight forwarders and importers have already been sending text messages here and there. So it should be an interesting evening if you want to know a lot more about some of the measures that these institutions are putting in place in enforcing the regulations we have around the port industry. You should tune in for this assignment. GOIL has also done something wonderful, but I'm going to go for a break. When I return, I'll tell you about it.
Every now and again, GOIL makes good things happen. This time, GOIL has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. GOIL Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with GOIL Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. GOIL has that sorted. GOIL, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Tell God, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Oh, how are you?
Hi Yvonne, a few words please. Everyone is talking about the fire at your production house last week. How are you holding up? Has production stalled?
No, not at all. My crew and everyone on my set is perfectly fine because I insure with Serene Insurance. As a matter of fact, I've had all my equipment replaced, including the vehicles that were affected. My workers have been sorted out. Even my production downtime has been covered. So it's all good. I have a meeting to attend to, so I have to get going. Sorry about that.
Which insurance company did you mention?
Serene Insurance, the new face of insurance, a member of First Sky Group.
Welcome back from the break. This is Eye on Port, and as I mentioned before the break, GOIL Company Limited is doing quite a lot for particularly their customers who are patronizing their lubricants. They say there's a lot of quality in the lubricants that they have available. Also, the past, I think it was even just yesterday, the entire country more or less were at Akrofo, the home of the mother of the former managing director and chief executive officer of GOIL Company Limited, that's Mr. Akoli, for that funeral, the funeral of the mother of Mr. Patrick Akoli, the entire GOIL. Honorable Kwame Nabatel is the chairman of GOIL, the CEO of GOIL, the current CEO of GOIL, the chief of staff, the deputy chief of staff, almost everybody were there. So we also have to send our condolence to Mr. Patrick Akoli. GOIL is a family of Iron Port. So on this occasion, we have to sympathize with GOIL, and we're happy to be there and also bid farewell to that great woman who gave birth to that great man, the former chief executive officer and MD of GOIL. In the meantime, GOIL is urging the public to patronize its high quality lubricant. Let's take a listen.
Ghana's leading oil marketing company, GOIL, is encouraging the public to patronize the company's comprehensive range of lubricants, which attend to the varying needs of its clients. GOIL has available on the market synthetic engine oils to mineral-based engine oils for both petrol and diesel engines, multi-grade and single-grade lubricants for both petrol as well as diesel engines to high-quality gear oils. The indigenous OMC also stock hydraulic oils, automatic transmission fluids, brake fluids, greases, as well as car care products. According to the lubricants marketing manager of GOIL, Rebecca Ogu, customers who buy GOIL's lubricants should be rest assured they are buying the highest quality of such products in the country.
Come and buy GOIL. When you buy GOIL products, you are not just buying a product, you are buying the highest quality products in Ghana. All our lubricants, we have the highest specs. When we talk about the specs, we are talking about our SAE grade. We have the SAE 40s, the SAE 30s, we have the synthetics, which is very, very common, the 5W20, 5W30, 5W40, and we have so many range of lubricants.
Speaking at a GOIL event to appreciate customers of lubricants with GOIL branded souvenirs at the various retail outlets, the lubricant marketing manager of GOIL also revealed that GOIL's range of products cover maritime and industrial use.
We have marine lubricants for the
Hello,
going
Mrs.
out to sea. We have lubricants for them as well. We have lubricants for the industries, even for companies like ECG. So we have transformer oil, which we use to power our electricity.
She said GOIL's range of lubricants can be purchased at all service stations and major distributors across the country.
You can get products from all our retail stations. So when you go to any GOIL filling station, you will get our full range of lubricants at the filling station. Apart from that, a place that we are standing like this, we have many distributors and we have major ones. GOIL! GOIL lubricants!
Okay, so that was the piece from GOIL and all that they're doing to ensure that they provide the best and high quality lubricant for their clients, and that should include you and include me, because anytime you purchase from GOIL, you're purchasing on behalf of country. My guest in the studio this evening, we're going to talk about the Food and Drugs Authority as well as customs enforcing regulations on unregistered products and sampling. And the guest I have in the studio is Mr. Emmanuel Yao Kwating, the head of the Division of Import and Export Control, Food and Drugs Authority. Mr. Kwating, pleasure to have you in the studio. Also with me is Mr. Roger Nana Otu Gardner, is the Senior Revenue Officer, Customs Lab. Tema, Roger, pleasure to have you in the studio as well. So I'll start off with Mr. Kwating, because I saw your release, Mr. Kwating, on the unregistered import. What exactly are you communicating?
All that FDA wants for Ghana is to bring some sanity into the import and export of regulated products. When I say regulated products, I'm talking about food, household chemicals, medical devices, medicines, drugs. These are the things under the purview of FDA. We want to ask our clients or the important business fraternity to get these things registered. The registration process affords Ghana the opportunity of making sure that whatever comes onto the market is safe, efficacious, and of the right quality. I'll take you to the registration process, then you understand why this
Would
thing
appreciate
came up.
that.
Yeah. FDA has an elaborate registration process, which is handled by the registration departments. There are about 4 of them within FDA. And what happens here is that the law says that if you want to import any regulated product into the country, the first thing you do is to register. The first thing you do is to register. Section 99 and 118 of the Public Health Act, which is establishing FDA now, says that you cannot bring them in unless you register. The reason why it says so is that the registration process, as elaborate as I said, takes the products through processes that will finally assure the final consumer of the safety, efficacy, and the quality. What happens is that samples of the product is brought in by the client, sometimes through the courier systems. A quantity that is approved by FDA, usually few bottles or few tablets or few quantities, through the courier system, cleared, and then it is handed over to FDA. The client also picks up a form and completes. The rep in Ghana picks up a form and completes, and part of the form goes to the manufacturer of the product. Then the manufacturer responds, completes the form, and sends it to FDA. We are looking at what goes into manufacturing the product. Who are behind the manufacturing? Is the manufacturing system adequate to give us repetitively quality products? Not just a one-off issue. It is a constant assurance that where it is coming from has the capacity to give us a good quality.
Anytime it is imported into the country.
It comes into the country. As part of the registration process, I'll come back to the registration process. As part of the process, there is the site audit that FDA officers go to the factory, wherever it is. It could be in Greenland, Australia, or wherever. We go there to see what actually pertains there. FDA.
In the course of
as part of the registration process,
your folks will then travel to the origin of the product.
Exactly.
Really?
Yes, that's what we do. So the setup at the factory, who are behind the manufacturing, competency, maintenance culture, a whole lot of things.
So you're saying that almost every product imported into this country that we are consuming originally, if you are to enforce this registration process, which you are claiming to do this year, anytime any product, Coca-Cola, whatever it is, if it is not manufactured here and it's coming from outside, as part of your registration processes, you would go to the country where it is produced before you certify it.
As part of the registration process. Wow. So all medicines fall under this category.
Okay.
Most food products, the dairy products, the canned products, based on risk, all fall under. Medical devices, even some household chemicals. So majority of FDA regulated products.
What about perfumery? Is it part of it? Perfume?
Cosmetics. The name is cosmetics. They are just cosmetics.
Okay.
So some cosmetics will fall under.
They are used on the body, so.
Some of them, yes. Some of them will qualify for that.
And that you would also have to travel to the origin?
And see how it is manufactured. Okay. Then, when the samples come down here, the registration department looks at the forms completed, information given there. They will look at the labels of the products and claims made. Okay, this product will make you handsome. It will make you a young boy. We want to verify all those claims.
If you are bald, you get more hair.
Your hair grows like you get an Indian hair. We look at all these claims.
Okay.
And then the laboratory samples also go to our laboratory that analyzes these products. For medicines, analytical methods and everything is verified. See, it is very elaborate. After all these checks, inspection reports, laboratory reports, departmental reports, that is the quality evaluation of the product itself, the label, the content and everything, will come before a product registration meeting. At that registration meeting, the CEO sits there, every head of division in that sector sits there, all registration departmental heads will sit there, and together the team will look at the records and say, this product is registered, approved, or three things: approved and given FDA registration number, rejected, and it is not given market authorization, it cannot come in. Deferred. Deferred means that the registration product has few questions that the client has to answer. So it is tossed back to the client and he takes it back to the manufacturer, back and forth communication, until the product is finally also given an approval, market authorization. So you can see that it is an elaborate process which makes sure that every product that receives FDA's number has gone through the mail.
I see.
Okay. We will want every product to pass through this system.
What about products that have not gone through this system but are already on the market?
That's it. Any product that finds its way onto the market that sidesteps this process is deemed not of the right quality.
So what are you going to do to those?
Market surveillance. We have a team market surveillance going around checking for these products, for seizure, for distraction, and all the rest. But it is easier if we can control everything in the port.
Okay.
It is much more difficult chasing them around the country. So if we, like the stakeholder meeting, we told our clients, if we can, we are going to tighten the noose at the port.
Okay.
When we do a good job, FDA, customs, and other governmental stakeholders, when we do a good job, it means that our work, FDA's work, would have been done at the port.
Okay. So at the port, what would you be expecting? You would be expecting to have a registration form that's certified by FDA from an importer, or what? What would you be expecting?
Fortunately, the current system in place, the ICOMS, affords us the opportunity to go electronic. We want every application to be electronic. We want every payment to be electronic, so that we will minimize human interaction as to the barest minimum. So what will take place is that you will need FDA registration number to do your application. Then the registration number is the key.
To do your application of what? The clearance?
To initiate the clearance system.
Okay.
Okay.
That means that folks are supposed to commence their FDA registration way before even the products get in. Precisely.
And that's what the law says.
Okay.
The law I quoted, that is what it says.
What time before the importation should they commence this?
Get your FDA registration number. You see, some people argue that, it takes a long time. Some say it's a tedious process. Yes, it is not easy. But it is a requirement everywhere you go. That is why you cannot just carry a container full of products to UK and just clear.
Okay.
We sit in Ghana, and they always, our very industrious business women, they just carry things, Coca-Cola and everything to UK, and then it is repatriated for destruction. That's
what you're going to do here in Ghana now?
Yes, that's what the law says.
Okay, so you are saying that prior to importation of any food and or drug product into Ghana, they should commence registration process with FDA.
Exactly.
If not, when the goods, the food or drugs arrive in the country, they would not get your number to commence even the clearance process.
Exactly.
Now, let me find out, to what extent would this, some are wondering if this will not delay the clearance process, because by the time my goods arrive in the country, if I had delayed a little bit and your people are now have to travel and go and check the origin of my product, what's the guarantee that we are going to be able to clear goods out of the port on time?
The guarantee is just simple. If you want to do any business, you want to understand what goes into the business. If you want to do business in pharmaceuticals, you will know that nowhere in the world where there is regulation, as we have. In fact, I must also say that FDA is among the top regulators in the world, not in Africa. The
Ghana FDA, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
The top regulatory agencies in the world. And we are rubbing shoulders with the greatest in the world. Okay. That is why you go to Togo, I shouldn't mention, some neighboring countries, and you find that they are selling medicines like biscuits on the market. You cannot do that in Ghana. And the quality of our medicines.
But still, some people question some of the other products from some places, sometimes without proper inscriptions or inscriptions in languages that folks in Ghana can't read.
Yes, that's what we are going to
you are going to do. So now you are going to take them out of the system.
Exactly.
And those that are coming, you ensure that you register them before. Let me get you back to the registration. I'm going to ask about cost and all of that, but let me take you back to assume that you are overwhelmed. People are not registering on time as they should and all of that, and products end up in the country. What plans do you have in terms of storage and all of that?
No regulatory agency can make plans to store the volume of goods we are talking about. If somebody brought unregistered, let's say rice, 50 containers of rice, how do you store this?
So what becomes of it?
If somebody brought in 100 containers of canned tomatoes, 100 containers, how do I store it? Okay, so using the human face, you know, we are Ghanaians, and for all this while, FDA has been using human face. Let's find a way of bringing it into conformance whilst it's in the country. So what we were doing is that we will put a legal document on the shipment, ask customs to help us clear it into the importer's warehouse. Okay, that is what, it was an interim measure so that human face, some form of human face. But then what happened is that, one, the sheer volume, something started with only 10 containers, it's now 5,000 containers. Chasing these products around the country is not easy, and it is consuming time. And then many of our clients are also not respecting the legal document that detain till registration or scrutiny is complete.
So the products end up in town in the market.
So what is FDA doing? And that is why we cannot continue doing that.
So what would you do now?
If you haven't registered, don't bring it in.
No, the thing is already here.
Why do you want to bring that in here before you talk about registration?
Assume it is here. So that's why we are saying that now if they haven't registered, they shouldn't bring.
Yes.
So if you begin to get a lot of folks, importers who import the stuff into the country and it's not registered, what measures have you put in place to deal with those imported items?
See, when we look at that, when we go that tangent, it means that we want to encourage folks to do that. We've been doing this for years. Okay, we cannot destroy it. Okay, we cannot.
So are you willing now to destroy?
Repatriation is the most important option for us now.
Okay.
Let it go back to where it's coming from.
Yeah.
That we have the we can do it.
So is that what you are going to do? Because we want to. I understand you that you are taking very stringent measures now, and as part of that, people should know some of the deterrent measures.
Yes.
So if I know that if I bring my goods into the system, and I don't register with the FDA before it gets in, it will be repatriated. Then I get scared because I don't want to lose money. Exactly. So is that a measure that you are putting in place? Is that the main measure?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now, somebody is interested in your travel to inspect the products from origin and all of that. You have the people to be going all these countries. Assume in a year, or let's say the first quarter of this year, we started January, February, and we have thousands of imports that are supposed to come. You're going to have folks travel to all these countries. Who bears the cost?
For information, I think you're now hearing this. We do it every year.
I see.
And we don't have we don't have much backlog. It is well planned and handled.
Okay.
And then the costs, I'll tie it in with registration costs.
That was
beginning of the year. Beginning of the year, FDA did an extensive stakeholder meeting to look at our cost of operation. We had seen that. We thought that because of our registration fee and then site audit fee and the rest, people run away. They shy away from registration. So we brought them to a table, most of our clients. Several stakeholder meetings. It ended up at the Vice President's office, the Minister of Finance, the Parliament, and finally approved by law for FDA.
Okay.
Reductions in the initial registration of registered products. About 80% reduction.
I see.
Okay.
Of registration
costs. And then the site audit, also about 60 or 70% reduction. All in an effort to bring everybody on board. Now come and register, because it is not that dangerous as you thought.
Not as expensive as it used to be. So it's now reduced about 80%.
About 80%.
But when you have to do the repatriation, who bears the cost though?
It is the importer.
The importer. Yes. So that's deterrent enough.
Yes, the importer.
Okay.
And then there's an administrative fine, which also will go.
Okay. Now, what about are there exceptions? So if you have a product, say some syringe coming from reputable organizations like Pfizer and all of that, and they end up in this country, you still expect those registration from them?
Yeah, that's interesting. You see, regulation is such that we know ourselves.
Yeah.
We know products that are registered by US FDA. Of course, it doesn't mean we should swallow it hook and line. We also want to look at it ourselves. But then, the amount of work that goes into a US registered product with documents available to us is maybe a fraction of what will go into a product we don't know.
Okay.
So if you have a product from a reputable company from a reputable country, most of the European countries, Western European countries, US and the rest, your registration process is not as long as others. You see, we have based on risk.
Okay.
I spoke about reduction in the fees, the various fees. We have also looked at our operations in-house.
Okay.
And we have seen that based on risk, we can use the risk approach to cut down on what goes into registration of different categories of products. We've been able to free our hands from most of the low-risk products.
Okay.
If somebody brings rice in bags, the amount of work that should go into it is negligible, because it's a dry cereal and you're going to cook and eat. So if we check the
inspection should be easier.
Yes, if there are no aflatoxins, if there are no molds and the rest. Okay, so it is easier. It has given us some freedom to look at the more riskier ones in a short time.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, I understand.
So if it took you, say 6 months to register a food product, 2019, 2018, and the rest, now it should take you maybe half the time.
I see.
So there's no reason.
What's the standard time you are pegging?
3 months for food.
3 months.
6
registration
months
process.
6 months for
but that's
medicine.
Long.
Then, if you go into the industry, you should know. Yes, if I have to do microbiological tests on a milk product, one test takes 14 days. If it is done at FDA or Standards Authority or Noguchi or Legon, nobody can. There's no shortcut. It is 14 days.
Yeah.
Yes. So if it has to be repeated, another 14 days or 7 days.
Assume that I'm bringing another brand of the same dairy products that I'm bringing
from the same source.
From the same source,
No,
I still have to go through that.
The registration is 3 years. We do this once, and it's for 3 years.
But 3 months, Mr. Kwating, can something be done about some of these?
I'm saying, food that used to take 3 months should take half, maybe the time now.
So
what used to take
a month and
6 months. What used to take 6 months should be half the time.
Okay.
Medicines too has been reduced drastically
to
6 months.
Okay.
Because it could take 2 years registering a medicine. And you know what happens? FDA starts with what the information you have provided. Midstream, we notice that you don't have stability data. So you are communicated to. Kindly give us stability. Then the clock stops. You understand? We have worked on it for 2 weeks, and now we are telling you your stability is not adequate. Bring us better particulars.
Okay.
So the clock stops. don't say that FDA has taken 6 months. The clock has stopped. We use 2 weeks, and we are waiting for you. Sometimes it will take you 3 months to give us that data. It's not easy. Because you go back to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer has to provide that data. It's not Gary and beans that you just buy and eat. The manufacturer also needs time.
I'm going to come back to you to see how you deal with those that are not also coming through the ports of Ghana. Okay. But let me bring Mr. Gardiner in all of these that the FDA has put across and what they intend to do. How does customs come in to back them, though he mentioned ICUMS and the electronic means and all that?
Okay. Good evening to your listeners. As you rightly said from the beginning, management of GRA and customs in particular has scheduled this year to be our enforcement year. Okay, 2021 being our enforcement, control and redemption year as declared by the Customs Division. Now with the clearance of goods that are regulated by other organizations, Section 6C of our Customs Act 891/2015 clearly states like mandates us to coordinate and control activities or processes that other government institutions will need to certify themselves before clearance is issued. By this means, ICAMS, as you rightly said, has mapped such commodities to their various HS codes, which prompts both the clearance and FDA that an item of this nature needs your inspection. That's one bit. Then with the non-acknowledgement of such, the above mentioned, the two processes mentioned above, when the item is presented to us for clearance, because of the joint inspection, we will mostly open the container together and have a look at it. After which the external regulators, the other government agencies, be it FDA and GSA, will now take responsibility or like take the initial step. After which, if the clearance comes to begin the customs clearance process, the customs chemist is the first office that some of these items are initiated. So when we are presented with items like the food, the drug, household items, medical devices, if there's no FDA certification electronically or manually, we then refer you back to them because we know there's an alternative process of clearing under detention. So that's what we do, and the effectiveness of the collaboration is at all levels, both on the field and at management. On the field, we have almost everybody's contact, such that if it needs further documentation before clearance is initiated, we always factor in that first by referring the declarant to go back to FDA to have it done before they come back to us.
In this particular case that FDA says they all have to get their registration numbers before they begin the clearance process from your end. To what level is customs also going to enforce this particular regulation coming from FDA, so that at least we are guaranteed that it's once FDA says you don't have my number, you can't clear, we won't have a situation where some way, somehow, those items can still be cleared out of the port.
Okay, with this whole thing, it looks like it's just a reminder of what is already in existence.
What used to be there?
Not what used to. It's already in place.
Okay, what is it?
Yes, we enforce to the latter. We at customs, okay, and the customs laboratory or the chemist department for that matter, are very much in close contact with FDA, such that items like this wouldn't go out of our clearance for you to even continue, such that, like I mentioned earlier, we refer them back to FDA. We've seen that you don't have the clearance, you don't have the accompanying document. So we knowing through communication that there's an alternative of which he has addressed that is what is actually causing the problem of, say, releasing items onto the market without the appropriate registration. We already doing our bit, and we are just going to take it a notch higher.
Yeah. So happy to hear that you're scaling it up. But what then had been the situation in the past? Why were we seeing some of those products still on the shelves, even though some, as we are all agreeing, they were not supposed to be in the country?
Okay.
What could have accounted for that?
Okay. So as FDA is saying, okay, because of the release under detention, okay, what we used to do is we were doing agency duty for FDA in the past, but now we have them at the ports doing joint examination with them to reduce and allow us focus on our revenue and security bit of the customs mandate. Now, if items of such, we are confronted with items of such nature, unregistered products, what we do, as I've said before, is to enforce what FDA, as part of it's mandated by law, as I stated in Section 6, that where you need other government agencies to come in and enforce control, national control, you allow them do their work, you help them coordinate the whole activity or the process to the latter. Now, the problem isn't with the customs enforcement so much as I understand. The problem is that because of the sheer numbers, they started with, say, 10 containers, and now we are having volumes of close to 5,000.
Yeah, so they've been overwhelmed by it.
Exactly. So it's not entirely from our end, but going forward, how they want us to notch it up, we are always ready to help them to do that.
Okay.
But we're already performing what DIVAX has to do by enforcing their laws.
Now, let me bring you to yours as well. So, Customs Division, Ghana Revenue Authority had this public notice out. It says, notice to importers and the general public. The Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority wishes to announce to agents, importers, and the general public that samples taken by customs officers must be covered by sample labels from either the chemist, chief revenue officer, outdoor or terminal heads, and a copy given to the importer or his agents. Customs examination officers are forbidden from taking samples except with sample labels from the above mentioned officers. What does this mean?
Okay. For customs and GRE in general, we are aiming to be world class, to provide world class customs service. Okay. In connection with what WCO has stated, WCO being World Customs Organization, has stipulated for all member countries to undertake to become world class. But as a human institution, we always have some one or two minuses that's tends to cut back the goal, such that we realize that sampling has really become a menace. There are new declarants and importers in the system, which they may not know the procedure or the processes involved in sample being taken out of their custody into customs custody, such that this problem is becoming rampant from complaints from declarants and GPHA security. With the issue of sampling, per our laws, the aforementioned, the officers mentioned, be it the chemist, the chief collector or chief revenue officer outdoor, okay, the terminal head, are to pick it for specific reasons. The chemist for description and correct tariff classification. Okay, for the terminal heads and the other officers, they pick it for other reasons such as valuation, security purposes, to also determine whether they fall under restricted or prohibited.
Are there specific quantities that they are supposed to pick?
Yes, it's also stipulated in our law, our regulation 2248 of 2016.
So the cost, the sample labels that's supposed to come from the chemist or the chief revenue officer should also bear the quantity that the officer is supposed to take. Is that the case?
Yes.
So if the importer, should you make the sample label available to the importer to know that this indeed is coming from the chemist or the chief revenue officer outdoor?
Yes, per the notice order from our Commissioner General, that should be the new process.
So all importers, when you import stuff and a custom officer says, I need to take a sample of it, you should demand that you have
you have a sample label.
How does it look like? What is the sample label?
It's I should have brought one. It's just a little note that customs used to communicate to other custom agencies. Say, for myself at the port as a chemist, we have a full laboratory for items to be picked per the schedule I'm talking about in our regulation. Okay, for say a container of sugar or dairy product, the number of containers under a particular declaration, we just pick one. And even in recent time, the sector commander, and previous commissioners have mentioned that where necessary, we should apply the human face in picking the sample in order not to overburden the trader or the importer.
Where necessary, so that brings the discretion to you.
Yes, but the laws states that we should go with one.
Okay.
One of, say,
so if it's chicken, you expect to pick what? A box of the chicken, not boxes of the chicken.
Yes, per the regulation, the schedule stated, give example for a few. Okay, it's been a little while. I think maybe it will be expatiated to cover a lot more. But so for something like mosquito coil, that's coming. The schedule is saying that you should pick six boxes.
6 boxes of mosquito coil?
No, just the little pack, the one pack, the retail pack. From a container, from different boxes.
Because the one that comes in the small rubber like that in the box.
Yes. You should pick.
So you're not to take even the whole box.
No. Let's get it. It might be a given box as a package, which will contain the retail boxes, the boxes that actually contain the coils. Okay, you are going to pick 6 of them from different boxes to get a representation of that container. Then move to another container if need be to pick a similar thing. For ethyl alcohol, it mentions clearly that you should pick 2 liters from 2 drums, 2 selected drums. So it could be one in front, one in the middle. So there are laws that govern the sampling size and all. Just that maybe going forward we will need to cover a lot more because of the volumes of goods that are coming in.
And probably give out the descriptions properly so that if I bring, say, food items of this nature, you take only one sample. If I bring boxes of this, you take. But what I want you to, and the message that we are hearing from you is that if I import and an officer is inspecting and has to take a sample, if he doesn't have this label, I shouldn't allow as an importer.
Yes, per the notice order from Commissioner General.
So if I don't allow, what's my option? Where do I go? Who can I complain to?
The terminal head is there, the CCOD is there. You could take it further to the sector commander if need be.
Okay, I'm rushing almost all of you because quite a number of messages, and I think they are there. At this point, it's very essential that I take some of the messages. Hi, good evening, please. And you may note the ones that you want to respond to because I'm just going to run through all of them quickly. Hi, good evening, please. I want to register to be importing cars. Where should I go? And should I do? FDA, they don't deal with those. Good evening, my name is Rafiu. What about those who have idea to create a product but they don't have money to register, and I don't have machine to do it in a large quantity, but I do it little by little, selling on the town, arrange money to come and register. What about that one? How are you going to handle that one? Or how does the person handle it? So who bears the cost of repatriation of goods? I think that's been mentioned already. Paying money for repatriation is probably the most difficult thing to do. Are there any sanctions for the importer if he decides not to pay the money for the repatriation? This one says, how does the FDA sample and test drugs that come into the country? We scan drug boxes, barcode, and they do not come up with credible information of manufacturer and country of origin. FDA should be scanning the boxes in addition to existing procedure and randomly check pharmacies or something like that. So please ask Roger to turn his his attention to something. Okay, Mr. Ziad Hamwi says from Borderless says, I sympathize with the government agencies who have to balance their IGF directives against the need to reduce fees and charges, but eventually business becomes more expensive and consumers suffer. Need to find a better balance somewhere. This one says, what about product locally made? How would they know that the boxes aren't those sold out? So gentlemen, so far where I have gotten to, is there anything you want to react to before I move on?
The locally made products, we love to hear this kind of stories. FDA has a system in place. So such one should contact FDA. We have what we call cottage industry.
Okay.
Where at a very negligible cost, the FDA will take you through step by step what you need to do to get your product registered. You should know that nobody is a guinea pig on the market to try your newly produced medicine or food on. Every product needs to be scrutinized. So he should know the FDA has set that process in place. And then small scale, board for small scale industries. We have a collaboration with them, and they are bringing such products to FDA for a registration. So he should also contact them, and it will make it easier.
Okay.
Repatriation costs. Unfortunately, when the consignment has to go, because you brought it in, you have to bear it. It tends to be much more expensive. But that means that
you should
let's avoid it and do the right thing. I must also say that what I didn't say, because I didn't want to say, is that in the interim, whilst when we start 1st of February, we are going to, if importers will contact FDA on time, if they will contact FDA on time with details of their products, whatever is coming in, we would put systems in place to make sure that by the time it gets to the points of clearance, you have an FDA number or a code that you can use to clear. But this will go on for a while until the system is finally formalized.
Okay. So, there's something about there's a Customs Act section 63A. It says Commissioner General may release the goods before results of lab are known. This is to reduce congestion. Do you know about that? Can you explain that?
Yeah. So what's that portion is saying that in our quest to facilitate trade, measures, MOUs have been done with organizations like FDA, of which he mentioned release under detention. We have our own internal ones for the customs laboratory that's in a quest not to congest the ports. We have come up with a process that requires the importer to commit himself to an undertaking letter, okay, requesting to the Commissioner General through the sector commander that we should permit them to release or clear their items into their warehouse, not for sale or for distribution, until the laboratory results is ready for clearance. This has really helped port clearance in the sense that the number of containers we had in the past, okay, having to wait at the port till every single analysis, especially say from customs laboratory or FDA or when all the other regulators were at the port, everybody will need to satisfy himself before one container is released, which could take weeks, demurrage and cost on the trader. So Ghana wouldn't be a preferred destination for a lot of the international organizations. Now with that process, okay, you are allowed to clear your items into your own warehouse, okay, pending laboratory reports.
Okay. So we have the Food and Beverage Association folks on the line. They have something for you, I'm sure, FDA. And I reckon that we have Madam Amanda Gajekpo should be speaking to us. Hello, Madam. Good evening. Okay. Hello, Madam. As we're trying to get Madam Gajekpo, Amanda, on the line. She's executive member of FABAG, which is the Food and Beverage Association of Ghana. She's also she's the logistics manager for 4Wind Company Limited. Hello, Madam Amanda. We can't hear you, so I hope that the techies would fix that. But this one says, nothing much will change. They will still extort samples, everything that the importer brings in. This is Ghana, Africa. And you laughed. This continent is in Europe for the USA. Trust me, very little may change, if it even changes at all. This is Pierrot. What assurance would you give to somebody like this? That's why I read it.
Okay.
Was something changed?
Yes, a lot has changed with, like in the past few years, with the inception of a place like MPS. Okay. We have cameras all over, of which this whole thing was initiated through the monitoring of the cameras, and we realized that and complaints from importers and declarants, in addition to Gapoha security. So data has been gotten that this particular menace is getting out of hand, of which Customs Management, through Commissioner General, has decided to enforce every single thing to the latter.
Okay. So this one says, hello, Madam Amanda. I think we have Madam Amanda Gajekpo on the line. She's executive member of FABAG. Still having difficulties with the sound. So as they try rectify, and I would read this. It says, not happy with the barcode scanning response. Please let it. Yeah, I think I can hear Madam Amanda, but quite far away. If Frank and the team can do some magic to bring it closer to all of us. Not happy with the barcode scanning response. Please let him be detailed and provide his number so we can provide drugs which are not right. We can't get well with all the pharmacies selling this drug which doesn't have information on the net. Mr. Kwati, you want to talk about that? Okay, this one says, sometimes if you pay for FDA, if you go to the Golden Jubilee terminal, they will tell you that the money that you pay is small. Is that the case? Is that the case? But I thought it's supposed to be some fixed money. Do you have to buy and go to GJT?
It is fixed money. So if it is small, it means that you should top up.
But okay, but if it's fixed money, why would they complain? So the folks calling the number, unfortunately, this time around, we're not able to pick the number, the calls because of time. You can send a message. The WhatsApp number is on the screen, 0559019177, and I will try and endeavor to read them and share them with the rest of the world. Let's go pick international pod news. And when we come back, we'll attempt to speak with Madam Gajekpo, Madam Amanda Gajekpo, if it's possible.
The International Maritime Bureau has revealed in its latest piracy report that a total of 135 crew were kidnapped from their vessels in 2020, with the Gulf of Guinea accounting for over 95% of crew numbers kidnapped. A record 130 crew members were kidnapped in 22 separate incidents, as the Gulf of Guinea experiences an unprecedented rise in the number of crew kidnappings since 2019. The Dutch environmental organization, the Ocean Cleanup, and AP Moller Maersk have extended their relationship by 3 more years. The organization's mission is to develop advanced technologies to rid the world's oceans of plastic. To achieve this goal, they aim to stop the inflow via rivers and clean up what has already accumulated in the ocean. Its ultimate goal is reaching a 90% reduction of floating ocean plastic by 2040. Mediterranean Shipping Company has joined the Hydrogen Council as a steering member to foster cross-sector collaboration that will accelerate research and development related to clean hydrogen-derived fuels and solutions. The Hydrogen Council is a global CEO-led initiative that brings together leading companies with a united vision and long-term ambition for hydrogen to foster the clean energy transition. The container shipping major said that the initiative aimed at exploring hydrogen and fuels derived from it was a part of the company's wider approach to decarbonization, which has already seen the company trial the use of biofuels as a blended marine fuel. Chairman of V-Ships, Graham Westgarth, believes the shipping industry needs to come forward and engage with the regulators so the legislation that comes out is shaped in a way that it is fit for purpose. Speaking during a webinar hosted by the International Chamber of Shipping, Westgarth said that shipping needed to be much more part of its own destiny to avoid scenarios from the past. He explained that defining a clear roadmap to decarbonize is essential, but in order to do that, the shipping industry needs to learn from other industries, explore new technologies, engage with regulators and technology providers, financial and public bodies.
Madam Amanda. Stanley Yenti Crow. Make you increase them like the way you did. Stanley, make you do them like the way you do the monitor the last time. Okay, that's it. So unfortunately, we are unable to reach the FABAC team. I'm told that even off air, when I was trying, Madam Amanda, some of you could hear us, and that's because we've made frantic effort to be able to take her input, because she really wanted to make an input on behalf of her team, but unfortunately, the technical difficulties did not allow that. I'm going to give you the last, let's say, 30 seconds. It's even too much. 15 seconds to wrap it up, because we have the president speaking at 8, and I think the news also continues after that. Yes, I'll start to him.
So all that FDA is asking the importing community to do, importers of regulated products, is to make sure they commence the registration process and get to a point where they will have the number to go through the application for port clearance. We have set 1st of February because it's not a new date. We started from March, but it was lockdown that stopped us. I'm pleading that whoever has an issue, a product on its way coming, or something you intend shipping within from even after the 1st of February, please let us get information about it, about whatever you want to bring in quickly, so that FDA can put, we will try to put things in place so that by the time the ship arrives, at least that product has some form of registration that
be used to clear.
Okay. Don't wait till it is at customs and the last gate and you are rushing and you want to clear. That will not happen.
Okay.
If we all abide by this, I think there will be no congestion or rush in the port. We want to facilitate trade.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, Roger, Customs sampling. What's the assurance that this time around we're not going to hear some of the commentaries like, I brought boxes of chicken, and about 10 boxes of the chicken has been taken for sampling?
Okay. Like I said, this is just a reminder. It's nothing new. It's just for us to be able to enforce our existing rules. Once in a blue moon, we will need to notch it up to clamp down on abuse. Now, sample taking, illegal sample taking is considered as bribe, a form of bribe, of which there are stipulations in our code of conduct and ethics and punishments there appropriately as far as dismissal. Such that the idea from the sector commander and commissioner general, is to help us achieve our world-class customs service, to redeem our image of a corrupt organization, of which certain few miscreants might be the ones pulling us back, such that until we clamp down fully with what is already in existence. I'm going to have to quickly hand over to the news. I see the Freight Forwarders Association, GIF in particular, is calling, also want to input, but it's not possible. This one wants to ask you quickly. Maxwell says, I want to import car batteries. Do I need to visit the FDA? And I want to know the process involved. They don't fall under you.
No, they don't.
Okay, so that should be what standards authority.
Yes.
Okay, on that note, I have to say a lot of thanks to the gentleman in the studio, Mr. Emmanuel Yakwating is the head of Division Import and Export Control, Food and Drugs Authority. Mr. Roger Nana Otu Gadina is the Senior Revenue Officer, Customs Lab, Tema. Thank you very much. We've been talking about the FDA and customs enforcement of regulations on unregistered products as well as sampling. The news is next.